My late father named me Rose, but I didn't look anything like it. I have turned 20 last week, but nothing has changed. I have always been like this, anything but normal. I grew up with a rare disease called arterial venous malformation, or AVM. This causes a mass of veins and arteries to get tangled up in the face or on the head, which could hemorrhage any time, and to prevent it, my parents got tissue expanders planted under my skin that made my forehead and my cheek inflated like a balloon. I had been called names like sick, ugly, or balloon face, but they didn't know that I was in pain, that I could bleed to death due to this disease. I never felt normal. Nobody let me. So I went to the hospital, approached the new doctor who was going to deal with me, and greeted him monotonously. "Hey, I'm Rose Felton, and I suppose you're Dr. Klaus?" I said without looking. "Hi, Rose. Yes, I'm your doctor, Dr. Klaus," he answered in his breathtakingly attractive voice. Stunned, as I looked up, I was blown away. He looked like those models in the fashion magazines, and I couldn't help gawking. "Should we start?" he asked with a mesmerizing smile, and I found myself nodding. He was so nice to me during the process. It melted my heart, but I knew that a perfect guy like him would never look at me twice. He was being nice only because he was my doctor. "We will get your AVM removed next month. It seems pretty good now," he addressed me with a smile. "Really?" I chirped. At least that was one good thing to hear after a long time. "I'll make sure of it, Rose," he said, grinning, making my insides churn. Stupid heart, get a grip. As I got up to leave after the blood transfusion, he stopped me. "Can I have your number, Rose?" I was flabbergasted, but gave him my number anyway, wondering why he would ask for it in the first place. As I reached home, I sighed. I wasn't expecting him to call or text me. I mean, he must have took my number in case he needs to discuss anything about my disease, right? I shouldn't expect anything else except that. The next day after breakfast, an unknown number called me. I shrugged and picked it up. "Hello, am I speaking to Rose Felton?" His voice filled my ears. I wanted to scream in delight. "Dr. Klaus called me." "Yes, speaking." I decided to pretend that I didn't recognize him. "This is Dr. Klaus speaking. How are you feeling, Rose?" he asked, and I could tell he was smiling. "I'm fine, doctor. How are you?" I answered. "You can call me Klaus, you know." He chuckled, and my stomach did a somersault. "Sure," I chuckled nervously. "Well, you needed to talk about something?" I inquired. "Well, I wanted to talk to you," he said. "About?" I spoke. "You," he laughed. "Me? Why?" I sounded confused. "Why? Can't a guy talk to a beautiful girl like you?" he said, and the seriousness in his voice made me want to scream. His sweet talks captivated me, and we began to talk every day. I was sure he was interested in me. He treated me so well, as if I'm someone so special. I was genuinely happy, and he was the reason. He used to call me beautiful, and the way he said it made me want to believe it. Today he called me to the hospital for the checkup. Next week I was going to get my AVM removed. "Hey, sweets, how are you feeling?" he asked as I stepped inside the hospital. "I'm good. How are you?" I smiled. His face fell. "What's wrong?" I inquired. "I am running short on money, and I have to get my brother enrolled in a good school. You know he only has me after my parents' death," he said, and my heart hurt for him. "Can I help?" I offered. "You? How?" he asked. So I offered him money, and he kept refusing. He said that he couldn't be a burden for me, but I was able to convince him after a lot of arguments. I was happy that I could help him out. As I was going back to my car after bidding him goodbye, I realized that I had forgotten my phone in his office. I reached his office, but as I was about to open the door, I heard him say, "You mean me and Rose, that ugly patient of mine? How could you think of that, Laura?" My heart sank. He thought I was ugly. I heard some shuffling before a girl's voice came from his office. "But you called her sweets and talked so nicely with her. She was hugging you today." The girl, definitely Laura, said angrily. "Because I need money, and talking sweetly to her is going to get me money. She is a walking nightmare. How could you even think that I'm interested in her?" I heard Klaus say. My world came crashing down. I was hurt beyond words. He shattered my soul. I was starting to feel almost normal, like other girls, but he showed me that I can never be normal, not even close. So be it. I decided to go inside and retrieve my phone from his desk. It was hard for me to face him, but I thought I should. Hence I wiped my tears and went inside with my head held high. I grabbed my phone, gave him a glare, and said, "This worst excuse of a human being is all yours, Laura." And I left. I heard him call after me, but I hurried back to my car and drove off.